Hey guys, my name is Kristen if you're new here, and if you're not new here, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. I wanted to talk to you this week about mistakes I made when I started practicing the work of Byron Katie. Now, I wouldn't really call these mistakes. I don't think you can do it wrong or you're really making mistakes. It's just your experience. But they're things that I did more often when I started doing the work in 2015 and have realized there might be better ways to do it. So I'll let you know what those mistakes were, how I fixed them, and how that enhances my practice of the work of Byron Katie. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. I see you guys who watch to the end, who write comments, who like the video, share the video. That does so much for my channel. And thank you so much for the personal messages you guys send me on my Instagram at Kristen or in the comments here. It really encourages me to keep making these videos and keep answering your questions either in the messages or through these videos, but I do my best to answer every message, and I can't thank you guys enough, so thanks. The first mistake I was making was something I now call spiraling. I did not know what to call this, and then at a New Year's mental cleanse with Byron Katie, someone had come forward mentioning that they do this, and I realized that I also do this, and Katie called it spiraling, and I thought, what a perfect word for it. So spiraling is basically when you write your worksheet, you have your scenario in mind and say it's something like, he lied to me, or say it's, I don't know, I'm totally blanking on an example, but any worksheet you have. And before you really do the work on the 4 questions and the turnaround, you jump to the turnarounds and you say the opposite. So he didn't lie to me. Okay, well, that's not true either. Or I lied to me, or you're just jumping and you're spinning. So you jump to the turnarounds and then you start saying, well, that's not true. Well, that's not true. No, that's not true. And you just get so frustrated with the experience because you're taking yourself out of the moment that you wrote your worksheet from. So the fix that I have for this is to stay in the moment that you had the thought. Instead of jumping to the turnarounds and guessing why those are also untrue and then feeling like, well, there's no point to this, I'm just like going in circles, this is not true, this is not true, this is not true. Just stay in the moment where you were believing that and work with the original worksheet you wrote. There's so much value in staying and working through the 4 questions and doing the turnarounds from that moment in time. Because if you jump around, you certainly can. I mean, you can jump around and start questioning things, but what I like to do instead is stay grounded in the moment, finish the worksheet I'm on, and if I absolutely need to, I will write a note to the side to come back to for the opposite thought or something that I want to work through that I also feel, oh, maybe this is more accurate, or maybe this is not true either. But I try to stay grounded in the moment so that I don't get into that spiral of nothing's true, whatever. So that's my first mistake I was making, or not really a mistake, but the first thing that was kind of derailing my process and getting me frustrated when I was doing the work. The second thing that is kind of related to this was just questioning huge ethereal concepts. So the idea of, going with the first example, he lied to me, just instead of saying he lied to me in a certain scenario, you say something like, all men are liars, or they're always going to lie to me, or something like that. People are always going to lie, etc. So how I combat this ethereal concept, which are things that we might be brainwashing ourselves with for years and years and years. And these can be sayings like, there's no such thing as a free lunch, or, you got to work hard to play hard. Just things that become mantras that we're convincing ourselves of, that when you're questioning them on such a large concept, it's difficult to narrow down your experiences or why you really believe that concept. So what I like to do instead to fix this is to look at the things that have happened in my life that support that thought that is causing me stress. So if the thought is everyone's going to lie to me, I go back in time to the certain moments where people have lied to me. And I do a worksheet from each one of those places. And I start looking at the reality of those situations, because those are the beliefs holding up this big ethereal concept. And sometimes when you look at a big concept that you've been trying to convince yourself of for many years, it can be overwhelming. But if you look at the individual moments, it can be really powerful to see how you're reacting out of that thought and how you've compounded years or a lifetime of memories to add up to this big ominous thought that is weighing you down. So again, taking it back to the moment, focusing on the individual occurrences that make you believe this greater statement and working through them that way. Because as you start taking down the bricks of the wall of this big belief, it's easier to disassemble such a large, powerful belief when you look at those individually. The third thing I was doing that was not serving me as well as it could have was I was skipping steps. I would get so frustrated, especially when I was doing work in the moment of something that I was going through and wanting to get to the point where I feel good at the end. So if there's a situation where, say I'm missing a deadline at work or something like that, and I'm like, they're gonna fire me, or I'm gonna get a pay cut or something like that, that is just a quick thought I have that I wanted to work through. And I'd go, well, can I absolutely know it's true? And I'd say, no. Okay, that's fine. I just want to get to the point where I feel good. I can't know it's true. I'm thinking something that isn't true for me. And I would skip all the other steps of the work. So what this does, and why this was a disservice to me in this practice, is you miss so much of how to get to know yourself through the other questions. So the other questions like, how do I react when I believe the thought? You miss where you hold tension in your body, or how you act in other areas of your work that it could be affecting, or how you act toward yourself, or how you act toward other people. And these are all really great opportunities to get to know what else you may be doing to contribute to your fears, and where else these thoughts are coming from, or what's supporting those beliefs. So you don't want to skip the other questions. Another example is skipping, who would I be without the thought? There is so much opportunity to just taste the life that you would have if you weren't suffering over a belief. So this one can be hard for people because they can't imagine life without certain thoughts, or they don't want to extrapolate and be like, well, how do I know who I would be? But it's just about giving yourself enough freedom to go to that place where you can experience for a moment not believing the thought, and what that feels like, that freedom that can feel like. And then the turnarounds, really sitting and finding those 3 examples in the turnarounds, can help you go from, I guess the turnaround's true, to here's concrete, solid proof in my life of where this turnaround is true. And it just helps strengthen your belief in the turnaround. The fourth thing I was doing is something that I think a lot of people do. I think probably every person, or almost every person I've introduced to the work or done the work with as they're starting out, who starts to experience this freedom, who starts to love the process of the work and just get so much value out of it. I did this, and so many people do this, we just immediately are like, oh, I know a person who needs the work. They need to turn that around, or, oh, they should ask if that's true, or all this stuff. And it is so tempting to not put this on to other people, because we get so much value out of it, or at least I got so much value out of it. And now I've gotten to the point where I question the thought other people need the work. And I'm at the point where I really don't believe anyone needs the work. There are so many ways to help yourself, so many things. There's different people. Not everything is going to resonate with everyone. But as soon as I start believing that someone needs the work, or they need to turn it around, or they need to, ask themselves the 4 questions, I go right into myself and realize where I'm doing that and how that's true for me and not necessarily them. So as soon as I think someone needs the work, I know I need the work. So that would be my biggest mistake. I think it's probably the most common one. Again, not a mistake, but something I did that was probably not serving my practice as well as it could. Those are the 4 mistakes that I was making when I started doing the work, how to fix them, and how that's enhanced my practice. So I hope this helps you. Let me know in the comments if you watched the end. Let me know you watched to the end. I appreciate it so much. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, or comment down below and let me see what you want to see. And again, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Kristen Jezik, and I will see you guys soon.